What's up, everyone? Today we're talking about aliens. I mean anime. Roll the intro. Anime is a medium that has always fascinated me. Its unique art style and bold storytelling really captured my attention at a young age, and still does to this day. For me, anime was never just entertainment. It always felt so much more than that, with stories about the importance of friendships, never giving up, or chasing your dreams. These were themes I felt many Western cartoons often never touched at all, and in my opinion, it's a missed opportunity. And it's these ideas that anime presents that make me so interested in talking about it to this day. So for today's topic, I want to talk about what makes up a good anime. But how do we define good anime? How do we even rate anime? Is it based on the animation and visuals? Or should we consider the soundtracks and audio? What about the overall plot, world building, and character development? Or maybe, is the answer even simpler than that? What about how it makes you feel? Before we get to my point about rating anime, I want to tell you all a little bit more about myself and my experience with anime. This will hopefully help explain how exactly I got here, and why I decided to make this video. Like many new anime fans in the 2000s, I started off with the shows often referred to as the Big Three. These were Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. All three of these shows hooked me instantly. It was a new experience, one that can be perfectly described by a single word: hype. But hype aside, in my opinion, these shows felt almost designed to attract newer anime fans. It also helped that each of the main protagonists had a clear end goal, which made the overall premise of each story easier to understand. For Naruto, it was becoming Hokage, and for Luffy, it was becoming the Pirate King. For Ichigo, well, he ran errands for a death god?
No more shit!
But all jokes aside, these three anime back in the day really made me feel a lot of different emotions, not just hype. Whether it be struggling to receive recognition from peers, or wanting to save a friend, we as the viewers were there every step of the way, through all the good and the bad. And it felt amazing. Honestly, my brain as a kid just couldn't handle it. Eventually, I branched out to all kinds of anime, not just shonen. The sheer volume and accessibility allowed me to binge so many shows, one after the other. During this time, I discovered My Anime List, a site designed for anime fans to rate anime, write reviews, and discuss shows with one another. I love the concept, and often spent quite a bit of time reading other people's opinions on shows that I'd watched previously. But it was here, my friends, where I fell into a very large trap. The more I used the site, the more I felt that I wanted my opinions to be validated by others, that I wasn't the only one who thought a certain way about a particular series. I wanted to be right, and not be judged for my taste in anime. But when it came to rating, I didn't know the first thing about how to compare different genres with each other. Which was better? What factors do you take into account? For me, it seemed like each show had a list of pros and cons, and at the time, I was determined to analyze them until I found an objective answer to ranking it. However, this all changed, because one day, I found something that threw all my logic, reasoning, and arguments straight out the window. In my mind, Code Geass still remains a masterpiece to this day. I love everything about this show, from its flashy combat sequences to its thought-provoking philosophies. But what really left an impact on me was the show's ending, and how beautifully everything tied together. I'm not going to spoil anything in this video if you haven't watched it yet, because you should go watch it and experience it for yourself. Everyone has that one show that makes them really appreciate anime, and for me, this was it. And I'll acknowledge that Code Geass is by no means a perfect show, and I don't think there is a perfect show. But the moment I finished the series, I felt something that, up until that point, no anime had ever made me feel. And in my mind, a single thought formed: wow, this is a good anime. To come full circle back to my original point, rating anime can be tough, but I think one important aspect that I overlooked is how the show makes the viewer feel. Embarrassingly enough, something that's taken me far too long to realize is that the point of ranking anime isn't all about being correct. It's honestly silly to think that an objective ranking exists, because people's opinions on shows change all the time. Every anime fan is different, and has different interests. How good a show is merely subjective to opinion. Visuals, audio, plot, world building, and character development are all attributes of a show that can add to a viewer's experience. If these attributes are good, then you'll have more individuals agreeing that a show is good. If they're bad, then there will be more differences in opinion. But that's just what they are: opinions. At the end of the day, comparing two different genres of anime is like comparing apples to oranges. Just because you had a bad orange doesn't necessarily mean all oranges are bad. And similarly, the same could be said if you had an amazing orange. And ultimately, when you have an amazing orange and an amazing apple, it all comes down to the person's preference. So to wrap up my final thoughts, in my opinion, you don't really need to think too hard about whether an anime is good or bad. You'll feel it. When all of those attributes I mentioned earlier are good, it'll grab your attention, and you'll feel like you're watching some good freaking anime. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, I'm actually really surprised. This is in fact my first video, and my first time talking about anime so openly like this. I'm honestly still worried about how people I know and don't know will react to this video, and more importantly, react to this part of me. But thank you again for watching and taking the time to connect with me. I hope I didn't sound too preachy, because it wasn't really my intention. The reason I wanted to create this video is because recently, I realized that I've always had the wrong mindset when it comes to rating anime. Because of my fear of being judged by others, I always tried to have the most accepted opinion when it came to a particular show, instead of creating my own unique one. But honestly, your opinion does not need to match what everyone else's is. You are yourself. At the end of the day, we're all just people that love this medium called anime. And with that, I think I'm done talking for now. But hopefully, we can see each other again someday. Thank you.